Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Julie with Freedom Wholesale. Yesterday there was a minivan that came in for a one-day turnaround detail. It is a Toyota Sienna, and it was bought wholesale by a young couple that are about to have their first baby. So another dealership had detailed it, but you all know how that goes, where it's been glossed over. It's decent, but it's not a thorough detail. There was still evidence of the previous owners. I believe they had had a cat in the vehicle often. I don't know why, but there was cat hair absolutely all over this thing. This one is in pretty immaculate condition though. That's always really nice to see, a minivan that's still on its feet, still going strong, and this one is pretty awesome. So the first thing I did was take the personal belongings out of the vehicle, and I think this might be my first time finding rocks. Is this what pencils are made of? Holy cow. I believe they went on a trip and collected some rocks. So I went ahead and put it in a plastic bag and moved on. So the main goal yesterday was a deep, deep vacuum as far into everything as I possibly could go, and then wiping away the rest of the remnants that the previous owners had left that the previous detailers hadn't fully covered. The couple had attempted to wipe it down and vacuum it themselves, but when it comes to all the nooks and crannies of a minivan, it's an intense project to take on. The thing about the anchors in this van too means that there are a lot of tiny spaces between the plastic and carpet where a lot of crust can get in and hide, and in this case it was mostly hair, this unexplainable cat hair. The reason why it was so important to remove as much of it as I could is because the new owner has a cat allergy, and the first time that they test drove it, his throat was like closing up. It was really terrible, so it was important to them for that to be addressed first and foremost. Another thing about some of the corners and crevices of this van was that I was not able to get the crevice tool in between, and so one of the things that you can do if you run into this yourself is use a dry toothbrush to help mobilize some of the crust and crumbs out of those spaces, and have the crevice tool nearby to suck them up as they leave the carpet into the air. It helps tremendously. I've been able to do it with carpet and plastic. It's a super effective method that I will definitely be using in the future. And if you have been watching our channel for some time, you know exactly what comes next. I start making a cleaning solution, I apply some gloves, I get my bucket full of tools, I add simple green all-purpose cleaner, I add a drizzle of Dawn dish soap, and then I add some water to that. And I am good to go. There are so many vehicles that are built and formulated for style. There's something about a minivan that is designed for function. It's not every day that we get a vehicle that is specifically designed for parents and specifically for children. There are little compartments everywhere. It's very convenient. I love this design. There's even a crafty little compartment in the door.
See this compartment? I'm convinced it was made to store snacks. It's not in the dashboard because otherwise kids would see it. It's the sneakiest parenting hack ever. Thanks, Toyota.
The interesting thing about this van is that it does not look dirty on camera. It looks perfect. I'm not exactly sure if that's because of the specific color of the interior or the color of the lighting, but it looks like I'm doing nothing, and like there are only a couple of crumbs. And even in person, it didn't seem that dirty starting out, but then by the end of it, it seemed like the interior went from a light tan to a champagne. One of the cool things about this color of interior is that when there is an amount of grime, it is so exciting to see it lift. One of my favorite transformations in this particular van was the steering wheel. Where the stitching is on the inner rim was what was a bit of the grimiest. By the time that I'd finished scrubbing it, all of the black was basically gone, and it looked like a completely different color. It was so pretty. It really stands out from the rest of the interior as well. So there's a top compartment in this console, and somebody had spilled liquid foundation or concealer and refused to come up off of the plastic, refused to come out of my tools that I used. It was so surprising. I decided to use a paper towel because when we deal with messes that are just really, really gross, we will use disposable products so that we're not ruining our tools, we're not ruining our rags. So interesting, in a cup holder or a console, there's always some unexplainable disaster, and it doesn't get removed until it comes to us. When you think about bringing home a newborn, you want that vehicle to be as clean as it can possibly be. I know a lot of times it's not necessarily possible for somebody to have their car detailed before they have their baby, and it's one of those things at the last minute that's just not possible to address. But in this scenario, it was such a great opportunity to be able to give that bit of a lift to this sweet couple and to this new baby. Found the honey hole of hair inside the cup holder and the compartment in both of the sliding doors. It was just like an entire wad in both of those compartments on either side. Went ahead and removed that with paper towel before I put any of my tools in there, because I did not want anything covered in hair, and then go back and spread it. Spread the joy. And this is the final result. Thank you guys for watching until the end. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe down below. We put out weekly videos on tutorials and tips for maintaining your own vehicle, and also projects that we have weekly here at the shop. Tell us in the comments below if you've ever owned a minivan, and if so, if you have a special story that you can link to that vehicle and why. Hope you guys have a fantastic weekend, and we will see you guys next week. See ya!